Hey gamers, in this episode I'm going to talk about the importance of knowing everything about your character. Hey gamers, welcome back to Game Master's Dungeon. I'm Brian, your Game Master. Today's episode of the Player Study Group, I want to talk to you about a very important topic, and that's understanding your character. You're like, well, of course I understand it, Brian, I created the character. But what I mean is, okay, yeah, you create the character, but you need to know everything about the character. Because creating the character and knowing the character are two different things. One of the 10 commandments of gaming that I have is know the game, know the rules. Now that doesn't mean to know every rule in the book, right? Because you don't want to be a rules lawyer. We've talked about that before. What I'm talking about is understanding all the rules that govern your character. If your character has special abilities, you need to know how and when those work. If it has certain skills, you need to know what those skills can do and what those skills are for and how to use them in the game. You need to understand how to make attacks, how to make defense rolls if that's in that game that you're playing. Couple of reasons why this is important is because one, it speeds things up, right? The GM is going through turn order, and it comes to me and they're like, okay, Brian, what are you going to do? I don't want to be sitting there like, well, what does this ability do again? I want to do this skill. Is this the right thing to be? Now, having questions is perfectly fine, right? It's not like a test where you're getting tested on your knowledge, and if you don't know, then you're going to lose experience or kicked out of the group. But what I'm saying is, so like, say I'm at the bottom of the turn and I've got a question about my character, I've got my book, I should be looking in my book or maybe asking the guy next to me. Or if you've got questions coming into the game, like the game session, you guys are all sitting down and everyone's getting ready, this is the time to ask the GM, hey, GM, question about this ability or skill or whatever, how does this do this? Get that all worked out ahead of time, because then if everybody at the table is knows everything about their character, it's going to keep the flow and the pace. Pacing in a role-playing game is great. Some of you that have played before know, like, say the GM is telling the story, everybody is on point, you're making decisions, you're making actions, you're making your rolls, and then somebody starts making jokes or doing whatever, and it's like interrupting the pacing, or they do something to throw things off, and then it just kind of feels like it just drags, or you don't accomplish as much as you thought you were going to. You want to do your part to help alleviate that, and knowing your character, all of your skills, your abilities, understand your backstory, understand who your character is, acting in character. If you're at that level, I'm not saying if you're a new player and you're just coming into role playing and you're watching this video and you're like, oh wow, this sounds like a lot of work. It is in the end, but with practice, right, you will be able to perform all of these functions, adequately, like the rest of the group. And it's just going to be a great time. And the GM is going to be able to just write amazing stories, and you're going to be able to progress through those, get to the end of the session. You're going to beat the boss or whatever. You're going to get your experience points. You're going to level up, and you're going to get a feeling of satisfaction. One, that you completed, the game's mission or the storyline. Two, you grew as a character. And then three, also you learned a lot about yourself and about your character. All right, gamers. So that was just some quick tips on knowing everything about your character. In recap, know your skills, know your abilities, know who your character is, how they would act, and act accordingly like that in the game. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button. Also, if you want to support the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you do that, don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notifications when I upload new content. Join me over on Discord. A link to the server will be in the description box below. I got new people coming in every so often. We're having some great conversations about all kinds of gaming topics, so I would love to see you over there. And also follow me over on Twitter at GameMastersDone1, where I post content, updates, and then things I'm doing in my gaming life. I would like to hear what you guys are doing in your gaming life as well, or if you have questions about certain content I've done or ideas for content that you would like to see in the future, put them over there or down in the comments below. Also, if you've got some friends that are looking to get into role-playing, show them some of these videos if they think they would help them. Well, until I see you again in the dungeon, I'm Brian, your Game Master, and happy gaming.